Hey everyone, how are you guys doing? Let me know. Let me know who's on and say hi and let me know where you're watching from. I am just getting my camera adjusted and I cannot find the little thing for it. There we go. Okay. All right, so I have a fun little craft that I wanted to show you guys today. And I am, let's see here. There we go. Hey, Juanita, how are you? Hey, Leanne. Okay, so this is the live that almost didn't happen because if you guys hear any noises, I have, we're getting a new air conditioner. So there's lots of noises that may occur, but never mind that. Okay, so let's see. If you're on here, just say hi so I know who is watching. And I'm just going to pull up my Facebook page so I can catch anybody that may not be on here. Okay, so I'm streaming to a couple of different places today too. So if you guys don't see comments, that is why. Okay. All right. Hey, Debbie, how are you? Okay, so I wanted to show you guys hey, Barbara, welcome, welcome. Hey, Anna. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Hey, Linda. Okay, so I have a fun little project that I want to show you guys. This is something that I've done multiple times throughout the years in many different ways. I've done it as a sign. I've done it as I made a shadow, not a shadow box. That's not the right word. A wooden box. You see those like unfinished like wooden boxes that open that you can get like at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I meant to grab it, but I made one of these using this method for my husband years ago when we were just dating, and I put little pictures all over it. So today I'm going to show you how I do this. We did it in my Happy Lettering Club. I showed them a couple weeks ago how to create these lettering designs on a photo using Procreate. So we just took a photo. This is a photo that I had of my daughter's high school graduation a few weeks ago. And I showed them how to kind of add all these letters and the stars and the polka dots on here. And now I'm going to show you guys how I take this photo and then I'm going to create a sign with this photo. Hey, Marie, how are you doing? Good morning. Okay, so I created this in Procreate and then I just printed it off on my printer. Now I have a laser printer. I think this would work with an inkjet printer, but I use a laser printer, so just gonna say that. I've never tried it with inkjet. But this is something that I did a few years ago. I made my husband for Father's Day. So I just took a picture of him and Abby just walking down the road, and I lettered on top of this. This is just, at the time, she was 2.5. This is how she said this. So I lettered on here just so we could remember how she said, "I love you, Daddy," at that age. And I lettered it on top of the photo. Then I printed the photo out and I added it to this piece of wood. You can get any shape, any size, whatever you want. But this is what I used, and I just basically Mod Podged it on this wood, and then we just wrote Happy Father's Day on the back, and she scribbled, and so now we have this like cute little sign that we can keep. You can put it on the shelf. You can do all kinds of things with it. So that's what I'm going to show you guys today. So Marie is sitting at the lake, last day of your mini vacation, about to pack up and head home. We leave next Tuesday to go out of town for 4 days, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Okay, so yeah, this is a really easy, simple, inexpensive craft. So if you have a printer, you could do this with actual photos on actual photo paper. I have done that before as well. I use kind of a thicker HP Premium 32 paper, and it's just a thicker, higher quality paper, and then I just print the photo off. So you can see that, you know, the quality is really good on the paper. I find the thicker paper kind of prevents it from bubbling as much, but you know, you can use regular paper. I have done that before. So you can use any shape of wood. Again, like I said, I have this tag I just grabbed out of the garage because I went shopping in the garage before this live to try to find some sizes that would work for the photo that I needed. So we had a whole bunch of these tags that we cut and then I didn't use. I have my husband cut all kinds of things with every intention in the world that I'm going to get to that craft project, and then I don't. So this just kind of seemed like it would fit. It's going to be a little tricky because of this part right here. So you could use something like this. You could paint it first and then do this, or you could just match it to the exact size of the wood. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a sec. Or you could take, this is just another thing that I have laying around there. You could take a shape like this, and then you could just kind of put your photo in the middle of it. Or if this shape was not quite so big, which is what I'd love to show you guys, you could, you know, again, cut it to the size, cut it to the size of the paper. So if you don't have that, or here is another, these guys replacing my air conditioner. My window to my office is out the front of the house. Welcome, Patricia. So glad you could join us. I'm getting my air conditioning replaced, and they're walking across the front of the house, and my office is right here. And so they're just looking at me weird, like, what is that girl doing? So here is another thing that you could do. I got these frames I have a bunch of these frames here. Didn't take all of this off, but you could also cut it to either fit this frame size or just maybe a little bit smaller and do it in a frame. And so I think that's what I'm going to do today, just because it seems like a cute option. This is a really, again, really inexpensive gift that you could give someone, perfect for Father's Day if anybody needs a Father's Day gift. Just print out a photo. You could either print it out at, you know, Walmart or whatever, or if you have a printer, I printed mine out on my laser printer today. You just make this just impossible. Okay. So I think that I will maybe show you 2 different ways of doing this. Does that sound good to you? 2 different ways, because I'm always extra, you know. So one way is if you were going to cut it to the, let's do this here. Let's do this. There we go. Okay, so if you were going to cut it to fit the size of a particular shape, like this one. Let me reveal my magic cutting board here. This is how I do it if I'm cutting it to a shape. Okay. It's not so straight. Okay. The lighting just always, I can never get decent lighting in here. Okay, so I would just take the picture, take the shape, and just try to line it up on here. I'm gonna try to, because people's heads are right where this is gonna go, I'm just gonna try to get that positioned as best I can so that this doesn't go through somebody's head. Now, why is this light so like orange? I'm the worst at finding light bulbs. Like I just replaced my light bulbs in here with some brighter ones, and I went to Walmart and I'm like why don't they just have like, there's so many different kinds of light bulbs. I cannot even, it's too many choices and I don't even know what to get. Anyway, I just get an X-Acto knife. Okay. And so I'm just going to press down here and I just cut around the shape, just getting it as close as I possibly can. And you could also draw the shape, you know, trace it with a pen or a pencil, and then just use your scissors if you don't have an X-Acto knife. But this is just a little bit faster. And then usually, well, all those. You could even do like a piece of scrapbook paper first, and then do like a, you know, smaller square picture if you wanted to. That would work too. Again, this is just, I went shopping out in the garage, and that's just, this is just what I had. It's not probably the best shape for this, but we're going with it. So you can see it kind of lines up to that shape. Okay, it does. It's like really like red or orange. I don't know. Y'all just have to ignore that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this piece of wood and I'm going to just use some Mod Podge. I like to use the matte. Just kind of gives it like a, I don't know, kind of a more of a silky look than the gloss. I'm just taking a paintbrush. Now you're going to want to put the Mod Podge on pretty quickly because it dries fast and you don't want it to start drying before you're done. So just make sure that you move fast and don't put too much on. If you put a layer that's too thick, you're going to really soak the paper, and you don't want it to like get the paper too wet, because that's what creates those bubbles. And make sure you go all the way to the edge. I go off the edge, just, you know. But when your paper gets too wet, that's what creates those bubbles. So I'm using thicker paper. You could use, you know, a photo would be a lot thicker. That would work good. So I have less of a chance to get this to bubble up, or it is less likely to bubble up. So I put it on, and then I just get one of these little squeegees that I have from my vinyl cutter, and I just do this. Kind of works any kind of air pockets out and gets it nice and smooth. And then I just have like an old rag, and I just kind of go over these edges. And what that does is it just kind of makes sure that it's kind of adhesed down to the edge of the wood. You don't have to do that, but what happens is if it's, you know, if it's sitting flat like this, like on top of the wood, sometimes, you know, just right here on this very edge, it may not stick down very good. And, you know, you could go like this and kind of possibly peel it up. So I've just found that if I just kind of, you don't have to use a rag. I mean, you can run your finger across the edge. I use a rag because I'm usually doing a lot of these at once and it starts to hurt my finger after a while. So, and then I have this hole, so I'm just going to kind of like rub my finger on it so that I can see where that indentation is right here. And I can kind of just cut around it. So I just get my knife. And I do this. Now, you probably aren't going to have a shape like this, so you wouldn't have to do this, but I use this method at Christmas time to make like, sometimes make ornaments for people. So you could also do that. You could, at Christmas, you could get like a family picture or a picture of your kids and do this on like smaller ornaments, and that would make a really great Christmas gift. So all kinds of possibilities. Okay, so there is that, and I'm just going to let it dry just a bit. And I'm not going to put another layer of Mod Podge on it just yet. I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm just going to sand these edges. And so I'm going to show you what that's going to look like. It's basically going to give you a look like this, where it's just kind of, and I find that doing that, it helps it stick better because you are just kind of sanding this off the edge so that the Mod Podge can get the edge of the paper and the wood, and it's just less likely to pull up in the future. So there's that one. Now, let's say I want to do this on that frame design. I've never done this on the frame design before, but it'll work. I've done it on all other kinds of surfaces, but not on the frame. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Amy. Good morning. So for this, because it is square, I want to make sure that I get my squares nice and even. So I'm going to use this paper trimmer. If you are a scrapbooker, you probably have one of these laying around. So I'm just going to kind of line this up and hopefully get it straight. And you might have to play around with the size, like if you have a specific size that you are wanting to put it on, you might have to kind of print it out. Sometimes I have to print it out a couple of times to get it to fit perfectly the way that I want. But I usually, once I do that, I will save it in Procreate, save that size and just kind of label that folder so that I know if I'm going to do, like, say I wanted to make a bunch of these, I would save it like under large tag or, you know, whatever you would want to name it. And then when you bring in another photo, you already know the size that it needs to be. So those of you that use Procreate, hopefully can catch my drift on that. If you don't use it, then that's probably all foreign to you. Okay, so now I have kind of a nice little square. You could also, another really fun thing to do that I've done before is, like, I've even gotten like big blocks of wood and just like paint it all black and then put like a photo in it. And then they kind of are like little shelf sitters that you could like put. So I have a bunch, they're packed away, but of my daughters that I did years ago, and I just set them on the shelf. Instead of putting them in photo frames. That's just a really good, fun way to do that. So what was I going? Oh, yeah. So you could even just like take the edge. Let's take the edge and just like tear it like this, giving it a nice kind of like, you know, like a torn look around the edge. I could have done that with that, but I didn't. Just made it square. But that's another fun thing. Or you could just take like a, you'd have to be careful with this, but like a lighter or something and just kind of burn the edges a little bit. That's another way that you could do it, just to give it a little bit of personality. Let's see. Okay, so this is just the frame I have here, and this is just wood. So just make sure your surface is cleaned off. I'm going to go ahead and put Mod Podge over this whole entire sign versus painting it on the back of this. And the reason, I know some people might paint the back of this with the Mod Podge. I don't want the paper to get too saturated and too wet. So I'm just going to do this whole sign, and then I'm going to position this where I want it. Doing it like this is a little bit more tricky because you're going to have, you know, Mod Podge around here. So you're going to have to be careful when you're just kind of smoothing it out, but it can certainly be done. And you don't have to put it all over everywhere, but just get it in the general location. Just make sure that you get it bigger than the photo so that, you know, all your edges are covered. So I'm just going to lay this eyeball it here. So I'm going to get this and just sometimes I just wipe and make sure that I don't have any glue on that squeegee, just because sometimes if you do that, it rubs and discolors your paper. So I'm just going to do this with my finger. That way I can make sure these edges are pressed down. Isn't that cute? So easy, such an easy way to do a little gift. And it's just like, it's something different. And you could add like a big bow here. I didn't, you know, bring all of the things that I could have brought to create some goodness, but I got some stuff. I got a couple little things here in my bag of tricks that I can kind of show y'all. Let's see. We do that. You know, crafters. We got everything. We got things all over the place. Let's see. We got a lot of beads down here. I'm just looking to see what I might have that might match. I find something there. So you could add like a big, like obviously this is not a huge bow, but just to give you the idea, you know, you could add like a big old bow right here. And you could just like hot glue it here, or you could even, like if you had like a little, like a wooden, like say I had a little wooden like graduation cap, you could kind of hot glue it right here on the corner. Or if you, this would be really cute. Let's pretend like this wood cutout is her name. You could now if you're hanging it on the wall, it wouldn't matter. But if you are setting it on a shelf, just make sure this is flush. But you could, you know, like glue her name down here or right here, do like, you know, something cute, maybe the year right here for this particular one. Like you could do all kinds of things to dress it up. You can paint the frame, all kinds of cute ways you can, you know, make that look super cute. So there's that. Now I'm going to let this dry just a bit, And then we'll add, this one is super easy because then we can just add our Mod Podge straight on top of that. That one will be done. But for this one, I'm going to use, now usually I use my electric sander that's outside, but obviously I don't have that right here with me. So I'm going to use just this little hand sander that I got at Walmart or on Amazon. If you look on my Linktree link in my About section on my Facebook page, this is linked in my Amazon favorites. But it's like squishy kind of foam. I love this thing. And you can like take off the strips, and this is great just for inside the house. So I just take this and I'm gonna go in a downward motion to just try to get this, try not to shake the camera too much. So I don't want to go back and forth because I don't want to possibly pull this picture up or rip it. So I just kind of do this, and it gives us this nice, like, kind of sanded edge look here that I like. Now, has anybody ever done anything like this with a photo? You can do so many things. Like I said, I made that box one time for my husband. I've made those shelf sitter blocks. This would even be great for like a teacher gift at the end of the year. Just do like a little class photo or something like that. You could even, if you have Procreate or, you know, an app to do some sort of a photo collage, you could do like a cute little photo collage. I do little things like this sometimes for my daughters for their birthdays. I'll make them cute little personalized gifts like this, and you know, it just is the cost of the piece of wood, which if you're a crafter, you probably have some scraps, something laying around somewhere that you can grab and get your picture printed off. I mean, quite possibly, if you have Mod Podge, you could do this with anything. Thank you, Juanita, for posting that link. You are the best, the best, the best. So all of the products that I'm using are, Juanita shared a little Linktree link right here for you guys. If you look on there, you'll see like my Amazon favorites. So if you want like the link to this little sander or the Mod Podge, all of that and more. Okay, just make sure that your area is dust free. I usually don't do this on top of any sort of like a cloth or a canvas or anything like that because sometimes your brush will pick up a lot of dust. So usually I use this a lot. You can see it's just got this nice coating of Mod Podge on it. But you could even do like take a picture. Oh, I'm going to give you 5,000 ideas, but if you have Procreate, you could take a picture of a note or something like that and print it out. You could just, you know, the possibilities are just lots and lots. Now for this, I'm just going to take this off of here. And just sand a little bit. Again, you guys will likely not have that little hole in your wood, but I do. Okay, so now it's just like the the quality of it is just nice. It feels silky, it feels smooth. So I'm just gonna take this Mod Podge again, and I'm just gonna go over the top, and I just try to make sure that, you know, my brush strokes are in the same direction, because you will see kind of like a thicker brush stroke on here, and just make sure you get the edges. That's where it would likely kind of pull up. So I kind of go off of my table here just a little bit where you can't see, but I'm just doing that so that my brush doesn't pick up any fuzz off of this cover. And I always like look at it in the light, and you can kind of see where it's shiny. You can see if you've missed any spots. So that's kind of how I see if I miss anything. And it will dry nice and clear when you're done. It won't be so glossy, but you won't have to do anything else to it. Like that's all I did to this. It's not going to be super glossy. It will be kind of it'll dry kind of in a matte. I might have used gloss on this one. I don't know. Might have used satin. But this that I'm using today is gloss. So is matte. So I'm gonna let this dry. Over here. Now I'm gonna do this one here. Let's see, Juanita said, I'm curious how this would work on an inkjet printer, wondering if it would smear the ink when you put a layer on top. Okay, so here's the deal, Juanita. When I first started doing this a long time ago, I did some reading, and it said if you are printing with an inkjet printer, we'll let you test this out, to spray seal it first. So do what I just did, the Mod Podge on the bottom, and spray seal it. I know it seems weird. But spray seal it, and then once you do that, then you can do the Mod Podge on top of it. That's what I read online about it. I've never tried that, so I do not know how that would work. I don't have an inkjet printer, so I haven't tried it. And then I know like other people that use printables, and they just print them off and use them. So I'm not sure. I don't think that they do anything special with it. So if you try that, Juanita, let me know, because I would love to know how that works. And how that worked for you. It feels like to me that it would smear the ink. It might be one of those things that it won't smear it unless you get, like on the first run it may not smear it, but maybe on the second or third run it might. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I would test it out, like I said, if I had a inkjet, but I don't. But you could just use photos. I mean, I know I have used so I used to have an inkjet printer long ago when I made a lot of the photo blocks, and I printed on photo paper with my inkjet printer and did this method, and it worked just fine. So now I'm thinking it might be just fine. Because, right, photo paper shouldn't be any different than regular paper. You've done printables with your inkjet. I think you have to make sure you let the ink dry for a while on paper. Yeah. Then I think it should work. I'd like it. Like I said, I've printed photos out on an inkjet printer and done this method with photo paper photographs. So if that works, then this should work. So yeah, just make sure that, I guess, it dries really well. Hey, Patty. We are just making some fun little gifts with photos that or not even with a photo, but I just printed this off on my printer. And we are just making this. So this one is almost dry. You can see it's not as shiny as it was a few minutes ago. This one looks really good. I love this, and I might have to get my husband to cut like a little graduation cap or the year and put it across the top of here. I think that would be super, super cute. Like her name just right across the top, and give that to her as a little gift. You know, there's not a lot of money invested in it. There's not a lot of time invested in it. So it's just such a great gift because I literally just pulled the picture from my camera roll into Procreate. I added all the lettering and the designs on top of that, printed it out, Mod Podged it on here. So it's very, very, if you have all of those things, it's very inexpensive. So you could even do like a note if you have Procreate. You could even write like a handwritten note or do something in your handwriting, like maybe for, and I'm just using this as an example because I made this for Father's Day for my husband several years ago. You could, you know, just do a little note like, thank you so much, you know, whatever, you know, thank you for always being there for us, whatever you wanted to write. Print it out on paper in color and put it in a little frame like this, or give it to your kids for their birthday. Just something that they could have that they could just like, you know, this can sit on the shelf and look at. So I think that would be just inexpensive. And now that I'm thinking of it, I think that this is, I'm gonna have to make some of these for everyone for Christmas, because that was super easy and I never really thought to put it on these wood signs like this. I just had it sitting over here in my office and I'm like, okay, I need some wood pieces. Like what can I use? What can I use? So I tend to get very crafty and resourceful with what I have versus going to the store and buying things. I don't get as creative. So yeah. And I will post pictures of these once I put maybe the year on here, or, you know, doll it up, maybe put a big bow. My dog, she's not like a big bow, you know, kind of person. So I probably won't add a bow to that, but you could. This you could, and I wasn't prepared, but I had some of this in my little cubby down here. So I'm grabbing it to show you guys what you could do. But you could get like, this is just some cord, some like, I don't know if they want to call it jute cord, but it's in the jewelry section. So I just pull this through like this. In here. And then I grabbed some beads. These were something I took off of something from the Dollar Tree. Now, unfortunately, I don't have her school colors right here with me. So we're just going to use white. But you could paint them like, that one's torn up. You could paint like the beads, you know, if you were doing this, the color in the photo, if you wanted to make a cute little, even a Christmas sign, you could get a printable and do this method with printables. Make yourself a cute little sign. I've even done this with printing out a large photo at Walmart, like a poster photo, and done this on like a big sign. I've done that before too, and it turned out really good. And that's a project for another day. Do that, and then you could, you know, make a little hanger here. So great Christmas gift idea. Let's see. Never really thought to do photos in the frames for Christmas. Now I give photos like, like happy school pictures to my mom or my mother-in-law, but that would be really cute here because then people could hang it on the wall, they could put it on a shelf. That may not be the best way to do it. That's the way I did it. And then if you had ribbon, like I didn't get any matching ribbon out of my closet, but this is what I had in my little cubby down here. So I'll show you. Oh my goodness. Hey, Emily, how are you? So Emily, I'm just taking the photo that we did in the Procreate class in the lettering club, and I printed it off and I Mod Podged it on this piece of wood here. And then I also did another size and Mod Podged it on this piece of wood here. And to make two like really quick, easy, fun gifts that you could do. Let's see here. Amy said today is your mom's heavenly birthday. That would be cool to make. Yes, it would. I think that would be a great idea. Nice little way to celebrate. Now you could also even go in like Canva, or if you didn't have Procreate, you could go in Canva, or there's maybe some other apps where you can add text on top of pictures. And so you could add their name and the year, whatever. Like you could do, maybe your kid's first day of school or whatever, and just put, the date at the bottom. And you could even also do this with your photo and just get a marker, like a paint pen, and write on the photo. If you didn't have Procreate to kind of add your own lettering, you could just put the photo, Mod Podge the photo onto the wood, and you could just like hand letter their name or whatever on here. Yeah, Emily, isn't this such a cool, easy, like, I just printed this out with my laser printer. I think you could use an inkjet printer too. We were talking about that earlier. Just let it dry really good. But you could also just use a regular photograph too for this. I've done all of the above. And you just, put Mod Podge down. This one, I just went shopping in my garage and got a scrap piece of wood. It's not a scrap piece of wood, but a piece of wood that would work and would fit with what I needed. And this is the size that I had. So you could do like a cute, again, this is just ribbon that I had just handy right here because I didn't think to grab any ahead of time. But so this doesn't necessarily match, but it looks good enough. You could just tie your big bow here. Probably need to be a bigger one. And I will add a bigger one and take pictures and all that. But anyway, just kind of a fun little, cute, inexpensive gift idea. So I hate to even just leave this on here because I think it would look so much better if it had the blue. This is not my ribbon cutting scissors, so. But think about if you had like blue and yellow here, it'd be really cute. But just, again, use any block of wood that you have, any piece of wood. You can do this on photos, printer paper, whatever, and just go to town. So I'll have to see if I can dig out like the little wood blocks that I have that I did of, well, it was Jackie when she was like 4. So I just had some photos and just put them on little, just little blocks of wood. And I was trying to look around and see if I had anything similar. But And I just put those so that I could set them just on the table instead of using a frame and all that. It's just kind of something different and neat and very inexpensive. So I also did this with those wooden boxes that you can get at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, those unfinished, you know, like little, they look like little treasure boxes, jewelry boxes that you can buy. And sometimes you get them half off for like less than $10. So I got one of those one year when my husband and I were dating, and I painted it all black. And then I got lots of different photos of kind of some of our fun memories, and I cut them out and I like, you know, placed them on the box and Mod Podged them on there just like this. And then I would put like just different keepsakes in there from, you know, just different places we went, like maybe movie tickets or just whatever. And I gave that to him one year for his birthday. So you could do that with your kids. You could make like a cute little keepsake box. My kids always love looking at that, and they always want one for themselves. So you could make them like a cute little keepsake box. You could like write their name on it. If you weren't confident in your lettering skills, you could go buy stickers and you could put stickers on them and then Mod Podge over the stickers. If you have a vinyl cutter, you could do their name in vinyl and put those on there. So there's so many options of things that you could do using this method. I could probably do about 4 more tutorials on different ideas, but hopefully this will kind of give you guys a good starting point to make something fun for yourself. So if you're in the Happy Lettering Club, and you make something, and I forgot to share this to the Happy Lettering Club, so I will share this video in the group on our group page so that you guys can watch it later if you want. If any of you make anything with this method, be sure to send me a picture of it. I would love to see it. If you're in one of my groups, you can post it in the group page. Patricia, I'm so glad that you like this. And yeah, send me a picture. If you guys you can DM me with a little picture. I like to see what you guys make off of any ideas that I give you. It's just fun. So that is our little tutorial for today. Easy, fun idea. So I hope you guys have a good rest of the day. I'm going to go back to work and work on some orders. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today, and I hope that this gave you a lot of good inspiration and a lot of good ideas. Okay, y'all have a good afternoon.